I think the clinician in me does understand why we get so whipped up, particularly once again in this information age. We are used to having information so readily that it is hard to sit and wait. As you said, it is Mississippi where, historically racial injustices have unfolded, and been sort of the norm in that environment. And things are so on edge right now, right? Everybody feels this internal pressure that we are like on the precipice of a civil war, a racial war of some kind. The Civil War is actually going to be white on white. The first one was, this one
We've already seen this. It's white on white.
it's going to be white on white. It is because
We just it's up for
who's
cover.
white.
Right.
The idea that the race side of it, right? Everybody's looking for the Crispus Attucks that's going to be the first shot in this war. And so I do understand why, in the midst of that, this feels in some ways like a righteous cause. This death that is unexplainable feels righteous, and people want to apply it to these unknown factors. It becomes a much sexier story if it's this. But also, having worked on college campuses for 8 years of my life, having done this work in mental health for like 12 years, like, or 13 almost. Geez, I've been at this forever. Like, I know that suicide does happen. People do go through the steps of harming themselves. And we are often left with, because those of us who do not live with those thoughts cannot understand what it is like to be locked into that course of action. But it is possible. And so to say that it is not does a disservice to Black men who we know, we talk about it. We know Black men are suffering with regards to mental health. We know that there aren't enough resources for them. And likely in the state of Mississippi, there are not enough mental health resources. I don't know that college, but it's likely that there are not enough resources to help a person who is suffering. Like I said, I worked in a college for 8 years. There was not enough. And even as a person who worked in those environments, trying to get Black men to come to me for services was very difficult because they didn't trust me as part of the system that they feel is oppressing them in the first place, right? So I know that people get into that space where that's the course of action that they choose to take. And so to say automatically this has to be lynching, it couldn't be mental health, that's actually doing a disservice to the person who and the family who does need real answers and doesn't need you spreading these ideas about what could have happened. Let's sit down, let's give a moment and reflect and make time to investigate what's actually happening before we start spreading lies and rumors about a person who might have really been suffering silently.
And I was trying to be very clear that I'm not saying that nothing foul happened here. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that to summarily dismiss that Black people or Black men would take their own lives by hanging because of our cultural history. No, I'm sorry. This is where I